Hey everybody, let me get my extra stuff up off. Hey, how's everybody doing? I feel like it has been forever since I have had an opportunity to do self-care Sundays, and God knows I need it. So I am getting back to it, doing this Sunday thing again. Talk about some things that's been on my heart. Maybe it's on your heart too. How y'all been doing in 2022? It's trying to come in rough for me, but you know what? It is great. I am currently quarantined. That is super crazy to me. We are quarantined over here in the Banks household. I spent this time during this break just chilling at home voluntarily. And now that I'm forced to be here, it has been the bane of my existence. I have been struggling. It has only been one day, and I have 9 more days to go, but it could be so much more worse. And I thank God for him giving me an opportunity to rest and to plan and to strategize and to get some things going on in my life. I have some folks up here. Hey everybody. Hey Anthony. Hey mom. I see some folks coming on. I'm not gonna be up here super long, but wanted to talk about some things that's kind of been in my spirit. Before I get into all of that, how has self-care been going for everybody this last year? Like, we're going really heavy talking about self-care. For me, I've had some good days, had some good weeks, I've had some bad weeks. I had some weeks where, I was feeling overwhelmed and not really doing the things that I needed to do. God's really been blessing my life. And I feel like a lot of times we talk about stress, we talk about things like that when things are overwhelming, but we don't talk about when really great things are happening in your life and it's still overwhelming, because you have to balance it and you kind of scared to say anything because you don't want anybody to take it away. You don't want God to snatch it back, but it's still a balancing act, trying to figure it out and trying to figure out how to do stuff. Today is my 5-year anniversary for my sister Locks. I'm so excited. Like I told y'all, I have been quarantined. So today I decided to do a braid out. So these are all braids. I don't know if y'all can tell. I braided my hair all the way around. I would not normally go live or go out places with my hair looking like this, but I don't think it looked too bad. I don't think it looked too bad. I'll keep it like this for a few days, then I'll have this big, beautiful braid out. All my hair will be all over the place. And as y'all know, I'm gonna take pictures, I'm gonna post them and do what I do to give some lock appreciation to my hair. So I'm excited about that. So that's me. Y'all please comment below, let me know. Tell me how things have been going so far in 2 days into 2022 and how you guys are doing with self-care, anything going on in the last year, any goals that you have coming up. My goal too, like I said, is to get back into the self-care talks and doing this every Sunday at 7. Please tune in, conversate with me. Let's talk about some things. Today I want to talk about giving your power away. And I gotta tell y'all where that came from. I found, like, today I was talking to my mom and I was complaining. I was complaining quite a bit about how I was feeling about some actions that I felt directly impacted me. And I was just like, well, I don't care. And this, and this is how I feel, and it ain't right, and blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, what? Why do you care? Why do you care so much? And it made me take a step back and just kind of be like, why do I care so much? Why am I allowing a situation, a person, anything like that to have that much power over me? Like, I definitely believe, like, knowledge is power. I believe, that I'm a very powerful person. And I find myself being like a boss lady, managing all these different businesses, managing this work world that I have, and being a mom and doing all this great stuff. Why am I allowing a situation to have power over me and making me act a little out of character, making me kind of be turned up a little bit? So I was like, wow, that'd be a great conversation. Maybe some other people have struggled with this recently, or maybe some other people have been going through some of this as well. And I will say, like, the situation, I mean, it was very frustrating to me. Like, I felt like I was, wronged. And I kind of felt like, like, oh, so is that how we gonna act? Is that what we gonna do? Y'all, those who are up here and know me, y'all know how I am. I'm just like, is that what we gonna do? Like, is this how things are going to, is this how things are gonna be? And I'm just talking real crazy at the side of my neck. Like, I'm a Scorpio, y'all. Like, talking a little crazy outside of my neck. And I'm like, when my mom kind of called me on it, I just kind of was like, yo, like, this is what I do as a therapist. I work with people on solution focused techniques and solution focused ideas and all that great stuff. And I've had to, I find myself in a situation where I was like, let me check myself and let me figure out where this is. And so what I did was I jotted down just some notes, because if not, I'm going to forget. And yeah, I mean, as many of y'all know, I believe in God, and I am learning. One, I'm gonna stop saying that I'm a baby in Christ, because I'm not a baby anymore. It's some things that I do know, and that I do walk in when it comes to my life and the guidance of my life and that type of thing. So I did find a scripture that I felt like kind of aligned a little bit with the giving your power away. And so that was Ephesians 4:26, which just says, don't let the sun go down while you're still angry. And I know a lot of times when we're like in relationships and when we're married and things like that, sometimes we have that conversation of not going to bed angry and not, not leaving the home angry, because you never know what can happen. But I think that also kind of goes into effect when it comes to, the situation when it comes to giving your power away. Once I hear some of these little key points I wrote down, y'all gonna be like, yeah, because it's like the same thing. Like, when you give your power away, you're giving somebody power over you. Like, I'll tell y'all, when I graduated high school, my mom told me, now I graduated with highest honors, all about the next steps in my life and what I'm going to do and all that great stuff. And so, but my mom was very clear, when you graduate from high school, you can go to college or you can go to the military. I'm from a big military area in Virginia. And I was like, yo, I can barely listen to you telling me what to do. You think I'm going to let somebody else be able to tell me what to do and be able to manage it? So I decided to go the route, going to college and getting my degree and starting my professional world and things like that. So I do believe like in the knowledge and in the guidance and that type of thing. But when you give your power away, it's like you just saying, oh, here you go. You can have power over me. You can dictate what I'm doing in my life. You can, as grown people, as adults, we're telling people that they can have that power over us with little small stuff. Like, what I'm saying? Little small stuff that be making us really wild out, that be really making us like cuss people out or making us really act out of character. So, people are saying some stuff. So before I go into my little tips, I'm gonna let y'all know what some people are saying. That's my mom, y'all. Praise God. Yes, you're giving your power where the power God gave you. Oh no. Yes, my mom told y'all, she definitely raised me with the don't give my power away. But to be able to find myself in that situation where it's kind of like, wow, I'm really up here wilding out. I'm really up here tripping out about something that really wasn't even a big deal. It was I felt wronged. I felt like, oh, I'm being overlooked. Oh, this is kind of, what the situation is. And that was particular to that. But then also I kind of found myself saying, wanting to walk away, kind of having that avoidance spirit, like, oh, well, that's how we're going to act. And I just ain't got to do it. I'm going to get my stuff and leave. I'm going to get my toys. I'm going to get my stuff. I'm going to get out of here. Like, really, is that how we deal with stuff as adults? No, you have to figure out what is a way for me to still maintain my power, still get the respect, that I deserve, because I'm a human. I'm really big on that. I'm a human. You ain't got to like me. It's okay. Everybody is not going to like each other. But I still feel like as a human being, we all deserve a certain level of respect. So I'm still going to expect that I'm going to have some sort of respect given, but it's okay if you don't like me. It's okay if you don't agree with everything that I say. It's okay, if we're not on the same page when it comes to certain things. But what I'm not going to do is give you my power. Say, okay, here's everything you can have for Sharonda, and do what you may with it. So one thing that I wrote down that I thought was really, really important is that we have to establish healthy boundaries. We talk a good game about setting up boundaries. We don't do it. We have to establish healthy boundaries. It is okay for us to say no. That was the hardest thing for me. It really is, like, to be able to say no to someone when they actually could do something because you really want to help. My spirit is a very helping person. I like to help people. So I'm a social worker and a therapist and a professional. Like, all these things that I do is about helping people. So that's the first thing, establish the boundaries. Say no sometimes. It's okay. If the situation does not work out for you, it's okay to tell someone, well, I'm sorry, no, I can't really. You ain't gotta be nasty, but you could just, clearly say, no, that's not something I can do right now. Is that something I can participate in? And that, I feel like that's okay. And speaking up when things are something that you don't like. And we say as adults that, we'll do what we can, we'll kind of step up and do those things. But sometimes, but depending on the situation, we'll back out and we won't speak up to it. So saying no, speaking up, and then also asking for what you need. And so some of us have a hard time. Me, Sharonda has a hard time sometimes asking for help or asking for when she needs stuff, because I want to manage it on my own. I want to manage my situation, but it's okay if there are times that we have to ask for what we need. And sometimes that's physical, sometimes that's emotional, it just depends on what it is. But those are some really good steps on how do I set up some healthy boundaries with the people in my life, the people who are not in my life, the people, my coworkers, people at my church, people at my job, people in my home. How do I set up some healthy boundaries so that I can, one, not give my power away? So that's my first tip for everybody. Let's establish some healthy boundaries. Also, my next tip is going to be responsible for your emotions, right? They're your emotions. So when I do therapy with children and adults too, I talk a lot about emotions. I start there. Let's kind of make sure we understand our emotions. Let's understand what it feels like to be happy. What does it feel like to be mad? What does it feel like to be sad? What are some things that can relate to that? And so once we're able to establish that this is what my emotions are, then we gotta be responsible for them. Like, we cannot just say, oh, I'm walking around with a little nasty attitude because, so-and-so did something to me and they made me mad. They didn't make you mad. They didn't make you mad. You allowed them to make you mad, right? Or so-and-so did something to me, it hurt my feelings so much. It's okay to feel hurt, but we're not going to give our power to that person and say, I had this emotion because you made me. No, they didn't make you. You have the right in that moment to decide which route you're going to go. So if so-and-so does something to me and it makes me upset, well, what does Sharonda need to do in order to keep my emotions in check? And that allows somebody to be able to move me around like a little pawn and how my emotions should feel. So do I need to do some coping skills? Do I need to take my butt over to that corner and do some deep breathing and be, okay, let me go and keep my thinking brain on right now? Because right now, I'm about to flip my lid. My lid is flipped. I'm about to go off up in here. So let me come over here and do some coping skills. Let me do some deep breathing. Let me do some mindfulness. Let me do something to help my thinking brain come back on so I can make some good choices. Or do I need to walk away? What do I need to do in that moment in order to not allow somebody to have control over my emotions? But what you can also do is you also let other people have control over their own emotions. I'm not going to take on your stuff either. I'm just not going to do it. Like, you can't tell me you made a choice because Sharonda made you mad, or I made a choice because Sharonda made me sad. No, baby, those are your emotions. You have control over what you allow somebody to make you feel or allow somebody to have that power over you. Let's see, my mom saying something. Let's see what she said. She said, that's right, love you. You do not need others to validate you. You were raised to be a self-sufficient woman. It's a plus if others do or don't recognize you, and that's okay either way. I agree, Mom, 100%. Like, that's the control that I'm trying to hold on to. So that was tip number 2, is that, that we have being responsible for our own emotions, allowing other people to be responsible for their emotions. So another tip I have is that transferring of emotions. So what I mean by that is, don't allow somebody else's emotions to fall on you. And now Susie gone and she fine. Like, Susie came in, she was mad, angry, and got you mad and angry. Now you very upset. Susie feel better now. Susie done walked off, and now you still in that corner upset and mad. Well, what happened was Susie transferred her emotions to you, and now you're upset. That's power. That's giving your power away. You allow somebody to walk into a space and transfer their emotions onto you. again, that's when we have to be in tune to how we're feeling, how our emotions are. What do we need to do to step away, to calm down, to get away from a situation so that that doesn't happen? But we have to be mindful that that's what's happening in that situation, is that somebody's transferring their emotions to you. Awesome. Also, do things that align with your value set. When we were younger, it was, a lot of talk about peer pressure and things like that. And when, people pull you to do stuff that you don't feel comfortable with. Well, it don't stop once you're not a teenager anymore. It goes with you. It can go with you into an adulthood. And now you're, doing things that are questionable to what your value set and the things that you believe in. It's okay, again, to set that boundary and say, well, no, I ain't gonna do that. That's not really something that, I want to be associated with. That's not something that I want myself to be pulled into. That's that healthy boundaries. Put that healthy boundary up when it comes to other people. And it is okay. Give yourself permission to do that. Give yourself permission to keep your own power. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you bossy. It doesn't make you, somebody who's not a team player. I'm heavily a team player in all aspects of my life. When it comes to work and when it comes to, my personal life, I'm a team player. But I also feel like it's important that I not give my power to somebody else, because then like I said, it's like you're a pawn in somebody's chess game and they're just kind of moving you around, and you lose the ability to be able to decipher what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. Also, forgive, y'all. I mean, this is like, sounds so simple, but it's so hard because we are emotional people. We're emotional. Somebody does something to you, we're going to have some emotions from it, but we got to learn to forgive. And we're not forgiving people for them. We're forgiving it for us. We're releasing it so that we're not walking around 10, 12, 13 years down the road, still holding on to something that somebody's done to us in our past. And like I said, I'm saying it now like it's easy. It's not easy. It's a work in progress. You can feel like you let something go, and then 3 years later it popped back up for you. You like, oh my God, I'm mad again. I'm mad. Like, I'm angry again, but what's important is that we recognize that, you may have some unforgiveness in your heart for something, and then do those intentional steps and do things to try to help yourself to be able to release it, so that you're releasing yourself and not allowing someone to have that power over you in that unforgiveness. Your self-worth. So don't let your self-worth be dependent on somebody's opinion. And that's hard. When I was in high school, I was very much a people pleaser. I wanted to make everybody happy. I wanted everybody to be happy. A lot of times to my own deficit, right? And to my own deficit, that I'm trying to, make sure that other people are happy and things like that. And I feel like as an adult, I'm definitely not that way anymore. I grew out of it. And I really wish I had known this when I was younger as well. Allowing my self-worth to be my self-worth regardless of anyone else's opinion. People are going to have opinions in different organizations you're a part of, different religious organizations in your work world. People are going to have opinions of what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. Well, we have to learn how to be strong in our own self-worth and in our own goals and our own value set, to know that regardless if you like it or not, this is what I'm going to do. Like, regardless if you like it or not, this is who I am as a person. And if you are upset with that or you have an issue with that, then baby, that's your emotions, right? That's the letting them be responsible for their own emotions. That's you. And I hope you work that out. I hope you do better with that. I actually say that to my daughter and my son a lot. I'm like, people aren't going to like you, and that's okay. That's their issue though. If you legitimately haven't done anything to harm somebody, or you haven't done anything to, cause any of this to happen, and someone just don't like you because you who you are, then okay, that's fine. You don't have to like me, but we're gonna have that respect, right? We talked about the respect. So you don't have to like me, But that's your issue, and I hope that you can work that out with your emotions to be in a better place with that piece. So that comes when it comes to the self-worth as well. Your self-worth is going to be built on your value set and the things that you're willing to stand on, and not allowing other people's opinions to shake that for you. Now, when it comes to like family and friends, as a friend, I'm definitely a person that, looks out for my friends, love on them. My life is very busy, and if any of my friends up here, my life is very, very busy. Right now I'm rocking like 4 and 5 jobs, and now I'm a mom, and I'm trying to, also still be Sharonda and do all those type of things as well. So sometimes I don't have as much time to, pick up the phone and call and things like that, but I love my friends and I love my family tremendously, but at the same time, I'm not going to allow, the things that someone else feels to dictate how I feel about myself. And I'm just not going to do that. So another comment. Listen to your mom. No one will control my mind, period. Learn from that nugget. I'm easygoing and try to encourage people or build them up. People will respect you more for sure. Yeah, mom, I agree. One of the biggest things is it's hard, like especially like, as you're coming out of that, being a child and being an adult and trying to manage your life and do those things. You're trying to figure it all out. I said when I hit 40, I was like, I'm like grown, like not for real grown. Like I'm like, I'm grown. Like, I'm making, I'm working, I'm paying bills. I have older children, and I hit that 40 mark. I'm like, I'm grown, but up until that grown place, you're still trying to figure it out. Like you're still trying to figure out what is your value set. Like, okay, I was raised this way. This is the way, I was taught to think and I was taught to believe, but you also have your own life experiences, right? You have your own life experiences that shape you and shape who you are as a person, right? And so taking in that, okay, this is the way I was raised, this is who I am, plus my life experience, and then merging those together, that really helps to guide you as an adult. And so in that guidance, that's when you have like that self-worth and that self-love. And a lot of times that's where we struggle the most with it. Like we struggle with, what's the most appropriate ways to love myself? What do I need to do to, be the best me I can be? What do I need to do? Because you have all these competing things going on, right? You got your mom, and so all this is getting pulled from you as a mom, and you're a daughter, and that's being pulled, and you're an employee, and that's being pulled, and you're an entrepreneur, and that's a pull, and you're very present in your church world, so you're being pulled. Like all these different places are pulling from you, and at the end of the day, in all that pulling, sometimes we lose ourselves. And so I can say for me personally, I don't know if it's because I am getting ready to go through empty nest. I have a 17-year-old who's getting ready to graduate high school and go to college, a 14-year-old who is a freshman in high school. And what I've learned from my daughter, in the blink of an eye, he'll be graduating as well. And then mommy will be doing her own thing. And for the last 17, 18 years, I've been a mom. And so me being a mom has really been my life. My kids come first, making sure that they eat, making sure that they sleep, making sure they have their needs, taking them here and there, especially now, taking them to, different activities, trying to manage all of that. And as I'm nearing and getting to this place where they're getting ready to go out and do their own thing, I'm like, oh, wow, I got to figure me back out again. I got to figure out, what are the things that I love to do? What are the things that are going to continue to push me? And I can see, I've heard people say it before, but I can see where that could be just really hard, because it's like, it's been so long since you've had a chance to do that. And so getting back to the essence of who you are, and that kind of aligns with your self-worth and your self-love. So another tip. So that accountability thing. So we talked a little bit about like establishing those boundaries, and then saying no, speaking up, and asking for what you need. But what if somebody, is not adhering to your boundary, right? What if somebody's not adhering to your boundary? What if you put this boundary up and say, okay, I'm gonna give you an example of a boundary for Sharonda. after, and this is a new boundary, but after 9 o'clock, if that phone is on vibrate and it's put up or it's on do not disturb, I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm just not gonna do it. But that's a clear boundary for me. It's something that I need to do in order to have my self-care be in a place that it needs to be. But what if somebody breaks that boundary? What if people call you? Or what if people, do something that, you're not comfortable with? What do you do? Well, what do you do? For me, you call them on it, because if you've been clear, I'm very clear on accountability. Like, accountability is a big thing for me. But what I'm also clear about is, if I didn't tell you, then I can't hold you accountable. If you don't know, like if you don't know that I'm saying that this is a boundary for Sharonda, I can't be mad at you for breaking it, right? So if I'm saying I want to answer my phone after 9 o'clock, but I ain't tell you, you call me at 10, I gotta suck it up, buttercup, because I didn't tell you that was a boundary for me. But if I've articulated that these are boundaries for Sharonda, this is what I'm not willing to accept anymore. And it's okay for boundaries to change, right? It's okay for you to have this boundary now and then it changes, because you change. The only thing that's constant is change. So things change, your lifestyle changes. Like, when I was doing my self-care talks before, at that time I had like 2 jobs, now I got like 4. Really blessed things, really blessed things, but it's still a change, which means my boundaries had to change. But if someone's clear on what the boundaries are, because I've articulated to them, and they still make a choice to violate my boundaries, then I'm gonna let them know that you didn't violate my boundaries, baby. So let's talk about that. Maybe you didn't understand when I said don't call me after 9 o'clock. Don't call me after 9 o'clock, because that's my boundary. So I think it's okay. I really think it's okay, because at the end of the day, when someone else has established their boundary, they're gonna hold you accountable too. And so that's a big thing. If you have to hold people accountable for making sure that you are not giving them your power based off of some of these tips, that is okay. Something else I think we struggle with as people is family, right? Sometimes we have a hard time, because I was raised to be respectful of my elders, period. I don't care how old I am. I could be 70 years old. If it's somebody older than me, I'm saying Mr. or Ms. or, that's just how I was raised. And that's how I've raised my children as well. And so sometimes it's hard, or you feel uncomfortable when you have to establish some boundaries within your family. So comment, y'all, talk to me. Let me know, what do you do when it's time for you to establish boundaries? What do you do when it's time for you to manage your emotions? How do you feel? Have you had situations where you felt like you've given your power away, and how easy that can happen? Like I said, my example is 100% today. Today, I literally, and my mom's up here and can say, I was like going off. Like, I was definitely like, I don't understand, and I don't know why, and you don't see me, and I ain't gonna do it, and I'm gonna do that, like going off. And my mom, who was on FaceTime, and she was just looking at me like, sweetie, what's going on with you? Why do you care? Why do you care so much? And she said it to me like twice. Why do you care so much? And then didn't sit in the first time she said it to me, but the second time she said, well, why do you care so much? I kind of was like, Sharonda, why do you care so much? Why are you so upset, yo? Like, this is like day 2 of the new year. You have all these amazing goals that you set for yourself, written them down, has set up a plan for success. You've got all these things set up, but you're allowing this one thing to make you act out of character. Why, baby? Why, boo? Why you doing that? I had to talk to myself. How do people talk to themselves? Talk to myself. What you doing? Even when I got off the phone with my mom, I talked to myself more, because like I said, we're quarantined in here. So, my kids are here with me, and they're hearing me and hearing this conversation. That's not, the example I want to give to them either, when things are kind of, out of the norm. So it's like, the biggest thing was like, why are you acting like this? Why are you putting all of the power you got, Sharon, and you put in a nice little bow and you giving it to the situation? And honestly, the situation that I was frustrated with, no one knew about it. So it was like I'm turned up for no reason. Nobody even knew that I felt this way. And so that's where the speak up piece comes in. So like me taking a moment to be like, okay, so me being in control of my emotions. All right, so Sharonda, You can't say so-and-so made you mad, right? You can't be like that because those are your emotions. So stop flipping your lid right now and figure out what steps do you need to do so you don't feel this way again. Do you need to go say something? Do you need to just leave it alone? Like, what steps do you need to do so that you haven't allowed your power to be taken? And so I guess, this year, that's going to be one of my things that I really check myself on. I'm gonna really check myself on, am I allowing my power to be taken? Like, and why? I'm always talking big game, entrepreneur, bossy lady, doing all this type of stuff, managing her life, doing all this great stuff. And I'm allowing somebody to take my power from me. Like, I'm giving them that power, why? And so that's something I'm gonna check me on. And if that's something that y'all guys are dealing with too, check yourself on that. I mean, this is life's too short. It's too much going on to allow ourselves to be, move like a puppet. It really is. And especially when you're being moved like a puppet and no one's aware that it's even happening. So we have to learn how to just take control of those things. I'm taking control of my emotions. Y'all will not, hopefully, not hear me say, well, so-and-so made me mad, or, so-and-so did this to me and now I feel this way. No, these are my emotions. I'm not going to give somebody control over being able to dictate how I'm feeling. No. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody does something to me, I'm not saying I'm not going to be mad because I'm human, right? I'm human. So, I mean, there's going to be a possibility, a strong possibility I'm going to be upset, but I got to take a step back. For me, deep breathing is like, it's like a miracle. Like, honestly, I don't know what coping skills you do or you have, but deep breathing is such a great one for me because I do it all the time. I don't care if I'm in my car. I don't care if I'm at home. When I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, I'm starting to feel frustrated, and I know how it feels when it first starts, like those sensations in my body, I immediately start to deep breathe. I be like, we've talked about this in the past, but deep breathing is not like you hyperventilate, you're gonna pass out. Don't do that. And then deep breathing is not just, it's not that either. That's just normal breathing, getting the oxygen in our body. Deep breathing is intentionally taking a deep breath, holding it for 3 to 4 seconds, releasing it. Taking a deep breath, holding it for 3 or 4 seconds, and releasing it. I will do that, and I can feel myself just come on down. Like, literally, I can feel myself come down. And I'm like, okay, all right, now I can think. Because, like I said this before, and I know I probably have new people up here, but what happens is our body does what it's supposed to do with your basic instincts. It does that. So we find ourselves in danger. Our body goes to fight, flight, freeze. It goes, and it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to say, oh, girl, hey, yo, girl, you are definitely in trouble. Get up out of here or fight your way up out this thing. So our body does that. But something our body doesn't do well, it doesn't determine whether or not I'm in a life-threatening situation or if I'm in a regular situation in my house and I'm feeling frustrated. It gives the same response. So we have to intentionally do steps to keep our thinking brain on. So in school, we tell our kids that they flip their lid, and they do. They flip their lid and they on the turn up. And at that moment, they don't care what you're saying. We have to do steps to help them calm down. So as adults, it is no different. I promise you, it is no different. We have situations. We have situations that happen that frustrate us. We have situations that make us angry. We have situations that are overwhelming to us. And our body's like, oh, no, Sharon is in danger. Danger. Girl, get up out of here, run. That's what my brain is telling me when it's because I walk in my room and I feel overwhelmed. So my personal step, a coping skill that I go to is a deep breathing. For me, it immediately gets me back. It immediately be like, okay, girl, get it together. Okay, girl, what you gonna do to kind of rectify the situation? So you have to figure out what your coping skill is to kind of help you get it back together, because in this situation, and I have a few more people up here, talking about giving the power away. And I do have people talking. So talk to me. Have y'all had situations where you felt like, not purposefully, but you giving your power away? You like, little stuff that pop up and you're upset and angry, and sister lady over here fine. She didn't want on about her business, and you over there angry, just mad, just mad. You just mad, and that person has moved on because they didn't transfer their emotions to you, and they feel better. There's like a whole weight that been lifted off their back. They're like, oh, Lord, I'm going to go on ahead and get me something to drink. Now I'm good. And you over there mad, angry in the corner. No, you didn't get your power away. You didn't get your power away. No, no. I had a couple of comments. Let me see if I can pop them up here. Mom said, life's too short, wasted energy. Yes, wasted energy. The right thing to do if something interrupt your thought pattern, then go to the person and share your feelings. Communication is everything. Let me say I agree. Communication, whether in any relationship, is important. Like whether it is a romantic relationship or whether it is a friendship, whether it's a business situation, communication is important because that, to me, that just aligns with accountability. You can't hold me accountable if I don't know. It's literally impossible for you to hold me accountable. You can't say, well, I ain't like that, but you ain't telling me you ain't like it. So how would I know that? And so accountability is a really big piece, and that communication is important when it comes to accountability. Emily said, relax, relate, release. Absolutely. That's actually was my motto for this little break that I've been on from school, is that I was going to relax, relate, release, and reset. I was resetting myself during this break because there are some goals that I have. I know, like those who follow me like on social media and stuff, every post that I do, I intentionally put down that we got goals, baby. We got, so when y'all read it, when y'all see it, I want y'all to hear it the way I'm saying it, because this is how I be writing it. We got goals, baby. We got goals. And so in those goals, I always put little emojis up there for the goals that I'm working on personally, but I always want to keep it in my mind that I have these goals and I'm focusing in on, and then I'm being intentional. I'm making some intentional steps to kind of get to those places. That's my goddaughter. Hey, love. Happy New Year. Hey, Andrew. Yes, you didn't get your power away too many times. Me too, girl. Me too, unintentionally. But one thing that I'm really, really, really serious about is that knowledge is power. And I consider myself to be a powerful woman. I really do. So as I'm learning and growing, that's why I like the self-care talk, because there's some things that you may not know or some things that I may not know that you can share with me to help better myself. It's always about forward movement, right? It's always about forward movement, not taking steps back, moving forward, whatever your goals are, whatever goals you have for yourself. And this power talk, like, it really sat on me so heavy today. And I'm like, God, I literally sat up here and had this situation and was angry. I know I keep saying it, but I need y'all to say I was angry. I was like, I don't care. Like, I was angry. So I really appreciate my mom, calling me out on it. So that's another point, y'all. Have some people who ain't scared to call you out on some stuff that make you look at it and be like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you right. Because that's, a lot of times we work off emotions. We kind of move forward on our emotions. But like I said in that one tip, we got to take accountability for our own emotions. That's really important. We have to take accountability. When you find yourself saying, girl, Susie done made me mad because she didn't da. Stop yourself. Susie ain't make you mad. You allowed Susie to make you mad because you made a choice that when you were feeling that way, you ain't doing anything to calm yourself down. So just, taking those steps and calling ourselves out on some things that we have going on. Ebony said, last time I was mad, I waited and hemmed up old girl at church. Oh my God. Y'all, Ebony, my cousin. And yes, ma'am, you did. I should have read that before I posted it. So, Ebony, next time, I'm glad that you waited. Waiting is good. But when you do that, throw on a coping skill right there. Because you might flip your lid. You might have flipped your lid. And so instead of flipping your lid, you can do your coping skill and get your thinking brain back on. And if you still feel the need to hem old girl up and you're okay, whatever the consequences are, then you do what you got to do. But we want to add in that coping skill to calm ourselves down. Awesome. Ebony, this is a follow-up to Ebony's statement. She had to learn herself and how to manage her rage at a young age. I mean, that's a good point. Learning yourself. I mean, that's a really good point. Learning who you are and how that changes at different stages in your life, right? So who I was as a child is different than who I was as a teenager, which is different than who I was as a young adult, which is different than who I am now as an adult. And now that I'm 40 plus, right? I'm grown. It's different, right? So learning who I am and the things I'm willing to tolerate and things I'm not willing to tolerate and the things I'm gonna call people out on and things like that. It's different. The things that I'm a lot more verbal. I would told someone, maybe one of my coworkers the other day, is I feel like every year that I get older, I get more verbal. I was like, girl, you just a little reckless with your mouth sometimes. But I think it's because I'm more comfortable in my shoes. I mean, I'm more comfortable in these beautiful little shoes I got on right now. And they made just for me. And they fit my feet perfectly because they for Sharonda. And so I think the more I get comfortable in that, the more I get comfortable in who I am, the less I'm willing to tolerate. And so that still doesn't give me a pass, right? Doesn't give me a pass to be in a space where I'm like nasty and things like that. But it does give me a pass to be in a space of saying, okay, well, this is who I am as a person. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to tolerate. These are the boundaries I'm going to put up in my life. This is how I'm going to hold myself accountable to those boundaries. This is how I'm going to hold other people accountable to my boundaries. This is how I'm going to be controlling my emotions. This is how I'm going to let you be controlling your emotions too, which is important too, where I'm going to control how I'm feeling. You need to control how you're feeling too. And I'm not going to be responsible for you being mad. I'm not going to be responsible for you being sad, especially if it really was I didn't do anything. Like if I did not do anything to cause you to feel that way, I'm not going to hold on to that responsibility. So Andrea said, that's my husband for me. He puts me back in check. Excellent. We got to have accountability partners. We do. It's important for us to have people who love us enough, y'all, who love us enough to call us out on some stuff, good stuff and bad stuff, right? People who can say, like my mama did, why you mad? Yeah, y'all had to be the FaceTime. My mom was like, why you mad? Why you mad? I'm like, I don't know why I'm mad. I don't know why I'm all turned up like this. But also my mom holds me accountable for really great stuff too, talks to me about some really great things that I'm doing. So we all got to have that, even in our self-care journey, like whatever your self-care journey is, whatever you're working on, which is your own personal thing. I'm still going to say, like I've said before, write it down, because it gives you something to look at. Something my children and I did on yesterday. We wrote down every goal that we had for this year and we put it up. I had them double write it so that they wouldn't forget it. But we put it up and we're going to go back and look at our goals on December 31st of 2022 and see how many things that we were able to accomplish. So that's something that's important to us. So write it down, write down whatever your self-care goals are. And in the goals that you have going on, just don't forget about self-care. It is so important. It is hard out here, y'all. I mean, did I expect on January 1st to have COVID in my house and have to quarantine? No. Like I was going to a family brunch. I was, going shopping. I was going to have to live my best life, but it popped up and now I've had to make an adjustment. And so things come up in your life. And if you don't have that self-care plan so that you don't get overwhelmed and you don't get to a place where you're depressed, because depression is real. I think a lot of people, we've talked about it before in the past about depression and people talk about depression, but since COVID been here in this pandemic and we've had all this, I've heard so many people talk mental health and it's so serious. It's so real. And so having that self-care plan is a tool to combat some of that. All right, let's see. Ebony said, when the workplace people get on my nerves, I'll do a Snapchat rant because I can get it out and no one will actually see it. That's excellent. I tell the clients that I see for therapy all the time about journaling. That's a journal. I mean, you're basically doing a virtual journal, and that's a way to get the emotions out. Because if we don't get the emotions out, they have nowhere to go but to explode. Like, I wish I had a cup beside me, but when you look, but when you look at it, you have a cup and you have an emotion, you push it down, you have emotion, put it down, and you just pushing it. It has no way to go but up. It has to come out. And it can come out in a lot of different ways. It can come out angry, like you could be pissed off, ready to tear mess up. It can come out emotional. You could be really sad, crying, upset. It can come out as depression. There's a lot of ways that can come up when we don't deal with things when they happen. And we have to know who we are as people and what we can deal with and what we can't deal with. So like in this situation where Ebony's saying she does her rant on Snapchat, she gets it out and she feels better. I think that's phenomenal. I'm a journaler. Y'all right here. If y'all can, let me see. Let me show y'all. This is a journal. I just got this one though. I love it. Just have fun. And this is actually my journal for my goals. This is my goals journal that I'm writing in and setting goals for myself. I have a lot of different journals for a lot of different reasons, but this one is for my goals for 2022, so I can write things down, plan it out, and get things going. So I do a written journal. A lot of it's because I'm old. And I just write stuff down. But some people do a journal on their notes on their iPhone. Sometimes people do, like Ebony said, on Snapchat, something that they can just record for themselves. But I highly recommend doing some sort of journaling to get emotions out so that you're not feeling super overwhelmed all the time. Ebony said, exactly. I've learned to set boundaries, and anyone who didn't respect my boundaries, I let go. And I think that's okay. I do. I promise you. I think it's okay. I think people sometimes in your life for a season, and it can feel hard. It can feel harsh. But when that season is up, it is so much better just to let them go than to cause all that drama and turmoil in your life because the season is done. Especially if they're not respecting your boundaries and what you're trying to set up for yourself. It's always good to have someone who is outside the picture frame who can see the whole picture and give you a different perspective. Absolutely. That's your accountability partner. You know, a lot of times they can help you see things in a different way. I definitely agree. Write your concerns in the journal. Yes, ma'am. It's also good to know that you're not always going to see the same thing as others. A turtle and a giraffe can look at the same thing and have two completely different views. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the same thing. Have you ever heard of when you have two people at a accident scene and they see two totally different and they're there together? So I agree, you know, everyone's not going to see things okay. And it's okay to agree to disagree. I've said that to people before, you know, well, you had your opinion. Okay, clearly we are not on the same page. And it's okay. It's okay because my value set, the thing I talked about that before, my value set has shaped who I am as a person. It shaped my thoughts. It shaped the things, my actions, the things that are important to me. Those things have shaped who I am, just like your value set has shaped who you are. And what right do I have to tell you that your value set wrong? The audacity, the audacity that I feel like I can tell you, oh, well, yeah, you were raised that way. And these are the things you experience, but girl, that's wrong. Boy, that's wrong. No, I don't have the right or the authority to tell you that your value set is wrong, you know, but I can share my thoughts, right? I can share what my experiences have brought to me. I could be having this whole conversation and someone up here like, I don't agree with nothing Sharonda said. That's okay. It's okay. You can maybe share something with me, which is why I like this to be interactive, that I haven't thought about before, something that I can incorporate in my life. It is okay to not be on the same page about something. And it's okay to hear someone. What is not okay is to tell somebody they're wrong for what their value set has shaped them to be. Honestly, for me, that's like the audacity. How dare you? How dare you tell me I'm wrong because this is what my value set said. But if you want to share your opinion and give me some facts and give me some more information behind it, and maybe it's something I can incorporate in my life, then that may be a little different. Awesome. Thank y'all for talking back with me. This has been an awesome conversation. It's been an awesome conversation. I can't tell y'all how much I really enjoy the self-care talks. And I'm going to be doing these every Sunday at 7 o'clock. They'll be anywhere from 30, 40 minutes, an hour, somewhere within that window. But what I'm going to talk about next week is love language. Love language is so important. I can't wait to go over that with y'all. So those that are going to tune in with me and talk with me next week, try to Google love language test and take your love language test and figure out what your love languages are before we come on next Sunday. I know what mine are. I've done the test. Mine align a lot to who I am. I mean, aligns right up to who I am. But I want to talk about why that's important to know what your love language is, and not just in your romantic relationships, but also in your friendships, also in your relationship with your children. I was on Facebook the other day and someone had posted how awesome it is to know my children's love languages and being able to adapt to that. And I'm like, I love that. Y'all, I mean, the more we evolve, the more our brains expand for how we parent and how we do a lot of different things. And to know that somebody or people are out there that are learning their children's love language and adapting themselves to that love language is a beautiful thing to me. I think that it helps children to grow in such an awesome space and not be put in a box based off of what my assumptions are into what how I should show you love. So we're going to talk about love languages next week. So yes, Mom, I see your message. I will send you the link so you can do your love language test, and then you can see if you agree with it. One thing I think is really important is that your love language changes, and we're going to talk more about that. It changes based off of your situation, and it changes based off of where you are in life. And so we're going to have some good conversation about that and how we're going to incorporate love language into self-care and how to self-care talk. All right, guys. Oh, that's awesome. This has been great. Thank y'all for talking with me about giving our power away. I'm going to give y'all that scripture again because, as y'all know, I love the Lord. He is the head of my house. And so I definitely am growing myself in biblical word. And so the scripture that I felt like was the most appropriate for this conversation is Ephesians 4:26, which says, "Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry." Please take that in your life, take it into your personal life, take it into the giving your power away life. That was the scripture that I was kind of going off of this conversation. Guys, please be safe out there. This, virus is still here. It is very contagious. I definitely have heard more people contracting COVID here lately. Wear your mask. Don't get too lax when it comes to that. Pray for my family. We're in this thing until January 10th. So I'll be up here. I'll be on social media and things like that. I'll be praying for each and every one of y'all. And please be intentional in all that you do and make it a great evening. Have a blessed week, guys. Bye.